Welcome to another episode of VGN Weekly. Members of the Virtual Grip crew will recap the previous week's races and bring us one-on-one interviews with racers, league owners, and commentators, as well as others from within the sim racing community. Please like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our broadcasts. If you are a league owner or potential sponsor and have a broadcasting need, please visit virtualgrip.net for info on how to get in touch with us. Thanks for tuning in today. Now let's go find some grip.
The Bootleg Racing League's Outlaw Modified Invitational Series rolled into Southern California and Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway for 100 laps of racing action. Conditions were difficult as the car wanted to spin on corner exit when drivers got aggressive with the throttle, and a couple of early incidents slowed the pace while drivers got tail happy on corner exit, including early race leader Lowell Jewell, who saw his race end early in an incident. Kurt Smith would lead after that incident, but he would experience technical issues which handed the lead over to Alan Wanamaker. Wanamaker raced side by side with Mark Herzog, losing out on that battle and getting some contact from Scott Negus to slow the pace yet again. The race would find its groove with Herzog in charge until the number 69 of Aiden Young would get past the 57 car on lap 45. The gap would fluctuate over the balance of the race, and ultimately, Aiden Young would pull away and not be challenged again, collecting his first modified win of the season. A tight points battle would dominate the conversation coming into round 9 of the 11-race season in Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series event at Kern Raceway. Todd Liston came into the night 4 points ahead of a tie for the second position between Mike Holloway and Kurt Smith. And early on, it would be Todd Liston who would look to control the points battle, taking the race lead early. It wouldn't be long before Jason Mendo would quickly sneak around the 87 car to take control of the race. But Liston would continuously apply pressure. On lap 68, in a pivotal moment, Todd Liston and Jason Mendo made door-to-door contact while racing for the top spot, resulting in a spin for Liston. Over the last 20 laps of the race, championship contender Kurt Smith would work his way into the second position, hoping to contend with Menda for the race win. A late race caution triggered by the spinning car of Steven Spies would set up a green-white checkered finish for the leaders to battle it out. Menda would time the final restart perfectly and would not be challenged again as he picked up his first win of season 28 over Kurt Smith, who would be the new points leader going into the final 2 rounds of the season.
Welcome back to VGN Weekly. I am John Hine, and I am joined this week with Zach Chapman, one of the voices of the VGN network. He is our current broadcaster that calls us on our SK modified races on Saturday nights. There's some other things coming up that he is going to be the voice of also. We'll preview that. But first, about his on track exploits. Zach first joined the BRL, and first race was on October 8th, 2021, and believe it or not, it was a dirt street stock at Weedsport of all places. Zach has 12 starts, average finish is 7.5. He's got six top fives, 9 top 10s, 0 championships. Zach, welcome to the show, and then how are you, my friend?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. A little down after that Commanders loss, but hey, can't win them all. Can't win them all.
No, you sure can't. And I forgot to even mention there, you're not only a voice of VGM, but you're a Gambler Motorsports driver, which I think that always should be mentioned too. All this takes place on iRacing. So, I ask everybody, how did you find iRacing, and then how did you find the BRL?
Well, it goes back to way back in on the Xbox days, Xbox 360, NASCAR 08 and NASCAR 09. I was actually ranked in the top 10 in the world at those games, but around that time, obviously stuff happens, but parents got a divorce, so money got really tight, and there was no chance to get into iRacing then. And a lot of my buddies, who one of them went out to be run for the Pro Series, they got into it. I kind of fell off the wagon, but I since re-linked back up with them in the early 2000s, right around COVID, and got back into it, and that's where I met all you lovely guys.
Lovely. I don't know if it's been described that way in a long time, but well, how did you then? You got back in here to iRacing and all that. What were you driving to start with? Was there a particular discipline a reason you joined iRacing?
Personally, my dad, I guess, when I was a teenager, he sold his dirt street stock, so I could get into racing, and that was always kind of like a passion of mine. So that's where I met you, John. I was real heavy into the dirt street stocks. I was okay at them. I won that championship in Coast to Coast, but like you said, you humbled me there with my stats. I didn't know they were that bad, but I came over here. I got some real competition, and I didn't last too long.
Your stats over here are incomplete. For those of you to know, Zach is a very well accomplished iRacer. He has championships. He's won many races in all kinds of disciplines we've seen. So, yeah. Well, what discipline though? Was it just because you wanted to run the dirt street stocks, or was there anything else there? What were you driving over in the Xbox?
It was NASCAR stuff, and I did always like. They never really came out with a good dirt racing game, ever since PlayStation 2, that World of Outlaws 2000 game. I think all of us loved that Rat Bag game. That was fantastic, and that kind of hooked me as a little kid. And I always loved the dirt side of things, and not that I call races for you guys here. They get really exciting in asphalt, but man, you know how it is, John. Dirt, you got to go, and you got to go quick. And I just love that excitement, and I've always been hooked on that since I was a little kid.
Yeah, well, you were driving first. I forgot what team we snagged you off of. Was it a Spartan? Was that the name of the team?
There was a lot of drama with that SSR team, remember?
SSR, yes.
Yeah, and I luckily, I owe you and Steven a lot for furthering my iRacing career for sure. Because I don't think the broadcasting comes from that. I don't have the camaraderie with you guys. And how much fun do I have running those road races with you guys? I never did that before. And that's kind of a new little niche I've kind of tapped into. That road racing is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and when that's kind of where I was going with that is, you started out driving, but you now have picked the microphone up, and as somebody that has kind of followed your career, obviously, doing the broadcasting, the improvements have been leaps and bounds how well you've done with that. Tell me how that came about, and how much fun do you have doing that?
Well, I mean, not to be one of those guys who says, "Oh, I knew it when I was a kid," because I really didn't. But looking back on it, my dad gives me crap about it. He'd be sitting there watching the NASCAR race, and I'd be talking about everything the whole time instead of letting him listening to the announcers. And he'd be, "Shut up, be quiet," and like he basically said, "I always knew you'd be good at something like this." I just love the describing the racing, and I mean truly like hard concepts with things like trail breaking and stuff like that. It's easy for me to understand them, but when you put me behind this wheel and you start racing, oh man, it's not exactly easy to do. And I just have kind of found the passion for being able to like talk about that and being able to relay it to people that don't really understand what's going on, and just helps bring them in a little more.
Yeah, you do. I will agree. That's what one of the best things I do like about listening to you. You paint a complete picture, and that's unique and not exactly the easiest thing to do, because you got to do it on the fly and you got to do it very quickly. And you accomplish that. What is your favorite discipline then to broadcast?
Man, I would say it really all does depend on the core group of guys, but man, you put some guys in some dirt pro late models. Oh boy, that's some fun. Sliders, guys rubbing a little bit, and understanding that sometimes you do need to rub a little bit in those things. Use the fenders, and I just think it turns out they're a little more forgiving too than the asphalt ones. You can squirrel around a little bit, save yourself, and it just I think promotes good racing. But now, you definitely get those arguments on the dirt side that you don't have on the asphalt side most of the times. But man, it's a lot of fun to watch.
It is, and for those that don't know, tell us a little bit about at this point. What are the different series, not series, but different kinds of cars that you are broadcasting?
All right, so let's see. Monday nights, I'm doing sprint cars and
Dirt, wing
yeah,
dirt
yeah,
sprint
yeah,
cars.
yeah, dirt, 360 sprint cars and dirt 358 modifieds. Tuesday, I do a league for guys over the age of 55, which is pretty neat because my dad's in that. That's why I really enjoy calling that. They do a race on the dirt side, which rotates either between sprint cars or 358s mostly, and then they'll go over to the asphalt side and they'll run a restrictor plate track in the Dallara or the NASCAR Truck Series. And that's pretty cool. You get to see guys play around with both disciplines. Then Wednesday night, back to the dirt again. That's going to be sprint cars, the 410 sprint cars and the 360 sprint cars. Had to think about that. And then let's see. Friday or Thursday nights, I actually am starting to get into with some of those guys that I mentioned who I used to race with the Xbox with. They're starting an asphalt late model league. So I'll be broadcasting that on Thursday nights. Friday night, I do go back to the dirt, sprint cars, late models, and the modifieds again. Saturday, I'm with you guys here at VGN. And then, well, tonight here, to let everyone in, we do these on Sundays. I'll be broadcasting here at 8:30. I do a UMP modified league. That's on dirt as well. So as you see, mostly on the dirt side, but I do enjoy some asphalt racing.
That is a packed schedule for sure. You know, those we'll focus here a little bit on VGN, because I'm not even sure we're going to fit these other things in, but you're going to be the voice of one of our newer series that are going to come on board after the first of the year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Yesteryear Racing League. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's actually something, well, right now I mentioned that I'm doing the Tuesday thing with my dad, but here as we roll around after the new year, that'll come to a close as you talked about. And man, not that, it's okay. So just to let everybody in, normally when I broadcast, I have to do everything myself. I start the stream, I change the cameras, I pull guys up. And when I got brought into here at VGN, oh my God, it was a kid walking downstairs Christmas morning. and seeing that brand new bike under the tree. People don't understand this man who edits the podcast, Ryan Seneca. He does not get enough credit for what he does around here. All the camera work, the way he guides me and Soup around the track, letting us know what's going on. It's phenomenal, and he absolutely lightens the load, and it's a big refresher. The other nights are a real heavy load, and this is I mean, I would assume as close to professional as it can get. I mean, the guys do a phenomenal job, and they really put on the show. And coming into Tuesday nights, that's what we're gonna get now. It's going to be the 3-man show. Me and I believe that's Jeffrey, right? I believe I'm doing that with Jeffrey Harden.
Ricky Harden.
Ricky. Why did I say?
Or maybe
Jeff?
it's Jeffrey. I don't know the lineup actually. So how about this? You're going to do it with a Harden.
yeah. I'm almost certain, and it's going to be a blast. I mean, getting to go back out on the short track asphalt circuit here again, and lots of drivers. They do a lot of cool things. They're doing that IROC League as well, John, where they're bringing in champions, and I know a couple champions from the other league, so a lot of big names going to be in that, and it's not going to be an easy championship to come home with. That's for sure. It's going to be an exciting Tuesday.
No, whoever comes home with that championship's going to have a lot of bragging rights and whatnot for that. But yeah, that is really cool. I cannot wait to start seeing that on VGN. I will actually be hit and miss on the yesteryear. I'll probably be on the track more than not, but whenever duty calls, I will. I think I am the backup to come up and fill in up there. So I cannot wait to do that. I've run a couple races with them, and I will tell you, Zach, they put on a heck of a show. You're going to have a lot of fun with that league. There's a lot of really, really talented guys that know how to race in that league. It's eye-opening, the couple of starts that I got, just how quick some of those guys are. It'll be a good watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I wanted to glance over too. That's terrible of me, to say Harden. That's JR. I'm doing that.
JR, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So my fault, JR.
The great JR Shepherd will be in there. Oh, that'll make that. He'll bring a lot to that booth. JR is 1 million time race winner of SKs in the BRL, and then more championships than anybody else. So yeah, you're going to talk about having a wealth of knowledge there sitting next to you in that booth. That'll be awesome to see those broadcasts. And why we keep talking about iRacing here a little bit. You talk about let's go back to your driving a little bit here. You came in, you were running dirt. I know you ran dirt with us quite a bit. But one of the cool things that I think you've gotten to do, I know for a while there, granted in another league, you got to race with your dad. That's one of the coolest things that I always, we've got some brothers here in BRL. I don't know that we have a father-son. We may have a father-son here in BRL. But we do have a lot of folks that are related. And tell me what that was like. What's that like racing your dad?
Oh man, normally we'd run together on Tuesday nights, and he gets off work around 4 or 5. I'd make sure I'd be out there at 5:30 on Wednesday nights to either tell him what he did wrong or give him crap about something he did. I mean, it's so much fun. I got to actually in Coast to Coast push my dad to his first win. I'd already won that season, and I wanted to make sure he got in the chase. So we're at Talladega, and I stayed square on that bumper the whole race and got to push him around to a win. It's neat, my dad not in the best of health, real small guy. Now you see me, I'm a big boy. Man, my dad is a third my size, real skinny and frail, so he can't wheel the car around anymore. But to be able to do it on iRacing with him, it is a lot of fun. And for the short time I keep probably make my little brother watch this. He was actually, got to give Andrew, my little brother, he was the original iRacer. When COVID came out, he picked up a local rig on Facebook Marketplace. And he had that thing for, I want to say, 45 minutes. He sent me a picture, and I was over there all night. And I was hooked, within that time, trying to scheme a way to get it. So, without the whole family, I definitely wouldn't be here.
So did you get on iRacing then before your dad and pull him on,
No,
or
I
did you
was
guys?
the last one. I
You're the
was the
last
last
one.
one. Yep, I was the last one.
Cool. What's your favorite moment that you had racing with your dad?
Um, let's see here. I know it kind of sounds dumb, but I won an Xfinity championship in that Coast to Coast League, and I mean, my dad wasn't anywhere around me, but I will never forget. He knew how much it meant to me, and it was like one of those NASCAR moments. I'm crossing the checkered flag, and he mics up in Discord and just like, "Congratulations, kid," and just gave me the spiel of how hard I worked for it, and I'll definitely never forget that one.
That is very, very cool. You know, you talk about your championships and all that. Is there a particular one that means more than the other to you?
Man, I know it's the weakest class, but man, that's that street stock championship I got. That wooden. Yeah, it's right back here. It's seen better days. The dog got a hold of it a little bit, but man, I keep this one. This means everything to me. There, that was so hard to work for. John, you were good in that series. Steven was good. You guys weren't my teammates then. We had you mentioned the Spartan Racing guys. I always think of Kyle Parker. That's a guy we don't see around iRacing anymore. Man, dude, was he good? And just having to beat those guys week in and week out and bring home that championship. That was my most meaningful one.
That is very, very cool. You know, since you've progressed now, you did a lot of driving, and then, you mentioned also about doing the road racing stuff. Um, so where does that fall on your list of love of driving?
I mean, that's up there now. I mean, I know, we don't get to do it all the time, but those guys who I'm going to be doing the late model league for on Thursdays, those are my original Xbox friends, and they've been trying to teach me a lot of stuff in the LMP classes. We've been running some laps, and man, I'll wrap myself out here, John. And if Steven laughs, he'll get a kick out of it. But the first thing they said was, "Turn off that GD racing line." Man,
Yep.
those road courses, and you guys are all right. You just kind of got to get a feel for it and become dependent on the track. If you got guys around you, boy, it can mess you up if you don't have
I
that
like how the
normal
fact,
focus point.
as I say, I like how the fact Steve and I tell you to turn that thing off for 6 months, and evidently somebody comes along and tells you, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, you guys are right. Because I mean, they'd make it hard on me. They set up the lobbies to where you can't even turn it on, so I had no choice. And to just be able to, it really is a different discipline. I mean,
yeah.
asphalt racing. I mean, the late models and these SK modifieds. Don't get me wrong, you got to be patient, but dude, that road racing when you're in the car for, you could do two stints. You're in the car for an hour and 45 minutes, and one mistake, you ruin the race for you and everybody else on the team. So you just got to be patient, keep your head down, and realize, you don't need to get everything right away. And I like going from the extreme of, running the dirt to where you got to go, 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 go to the road part where, it's you got 45 minutes to get the pass done. No rush here. Take your time.
So, do you like the iRacing, like the regular, like the time races that are 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, or do you like the long endurance, the 20, the 12, the 24-hour ones more?
I do them both, but I'm definitely not as competitive in the sprint races because some people feel like, or in the sprint, that means the shorter 45-minute ones for people listening. But Um, people are kind of more gung ho in that, not as patient. And I normally won't qualify in those, and I'll just use it as practice for when me, Steven, and John are going to run the long one on the weekend. Those long ones, I like it, and truly, I mean, we're never let down with anybody if they make a mistake, but that team element and just being able to chat with people, it really, it's like a family that I didn't know I had, and it's a lot of fun. They're a good environment.
Have you had a favorite endurance race? One that the next calendar, whenever it comes out, you're going to circle and I guess pester us to run.
Well, I mean, we did pretty good at Daytona if I didn't loop it around on lap one, if you remember there and have to do a quick.
Well, that wasn't the only one I there, but yeah, we did. What did we finish? P3, P4 in that thing.
Yeah, we got third, I believe, and could have been better if not for my couple pit stops there that we had. But and Daytona's fun, Spa's a lot of fun. But I'm telling you, I'm going to catch you by surprise with this one, John. I've been practicing at the Nürburgring, and I think I'm ready to go.
Well, very good. That's I know I can speak for Steven and I. We like that place. So I think some of our other guys on our team like it. So that's one we'll probably definitely hit along with Daytona. So I think you're going to be covered next year, hopefully, unless you bail and go run with those old buddies that that you seem to listen to.
Oh no! When I tell you, if you look at their iRatings, John, they're in
Oh,
the 8 or 9
yeah.
thousands. I've got
Yep.
no business running in those lobbies. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I know who they are. I've raced again. I think Christian Peterson's one of them, and I think I've raced against Christian a whole lot, especially in the tour mods. So yeah, those cats are really good.
And they're kind of seeping their way into maybe that IROC deal, John. Some of them are running the Red Light Racing that's partnered with Yesteryear or something
Oh
like
wow,
that. So they're kind of branching in a little bit there, so they may end up making their way over here in some time. So who knows?
very cool. Well, all this driving has led you into that broadcast booth as we covered here. So, now you've got a thing called Shaggy TV, which I know isn't VGN, but you can still catch some of your other broadcasts. Where can we find Shaggy TV, and how did that come about?
Well, actually, believe it or not, I started there on Coast to Coast just helping out, and I'd fill in every now and then, and I really do. I got to give credit to Roger Craig on this one, man. He knew that all the boys called me Shaggy. I still have a little longer hair, but when I tell you I had long hair, it was down to almost my butt. I do that locks for love stuff.
Yeah, we
For the
used to
fancy
call you
kids.
iRacing Jesus because you had the
Yeah.
long mane and all that. So,
Yeah, it'll get back down there as long as I keep. My mom blessed me with this delicious hair, so I got to give it to the young kids as long as it's still coming out good and not gray. So keep the rotation going. But wait, where was I going to that, John? I lost my.
well,
my
where did
point.
Shaggy TV and all
Oh
of that?
yeah. Right. So Roger said, if you're going to be doing these broadcasts for me, filling in, you need a logo. I want you to get credit, and he took the mystery machine kind of looking thing and customized it, wrote Shaggy TV on it, and I worked with a girl who is a really good artist. Her name's Louisa, and she drew that up for me. Drew up a custom logo of me and the mystery machine with Shaggy TV on the side, and that's where it all kind of kicked off. It stuck, and don't have a bunch of followers, but get a good bunch of views there on the races, and it's always good racing on that side. But you can find it. I have Shaggy TV on Facebook, and I have Shaggy TV on YouTube as well.
That's very, very cool, and I'm sure that is only going to grow with all the different things that you've got going on. So, I can't begin to tell you, and everybody here is just going to have to indulge me because, obviously you're on Gambler. You and I have a personal relationship, man, and I cannot tell you how cool it is to have watched you evolve with that stuff. I can't wait to see where you go with it. Have just out of curiosity, I know I asked you a while ago, a long time back, and I think. Have you started putting feelers out to any of your local dirt tracks? I think you did a while back. Anything percolating on that side?
Nothing back yet. And it actually, it's so funny you say that, John. It's crazy how the world works. I hadn't heard back. So actually, yesterday morning, I was like, I'll scroll through my Facebook messages. And boy, it broke my heart. I did reach out to Sealands Grove, and man, they opened it, John, and they left me on red here. I even name dropped our man, Dean Reynolds here. Dean told me I could. He said he knew him, and he was like, yeah, you feel free, to try to get something going. But nothing as of yet. But, I don't wish anything on them. But the guys at Lincoln Speedway and Williams Grove, John, they're getting up there in age. So maybe my time's coming.
Yeah, well, we hope to see you on that. That'd be really cool because then I can say, yeah, I know him because I know there's, Flow is a channel that a lot of us racers will go watch all kinds of different racing, and I've gotten to know Cody Early really, really well. Who it's really cool to turn on Flow and see him calling races, and so hopefully it won't be long. We'll see you up there out there doing that, and I can say, hey, I know that guy, and I can text you during a broadcast. So that'll be very cool. Yeah, I know you're a big fan. You just name dropped a handful of tracks there. So what is your where's your go-to track now? What track do you attend the most now?
Lincoln Speedway for sure. That's in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. And well, I'm in Gettysburg, so the historic town. If you've ever heard of the Civil War town, that's where I'm at. So right here, prime central PA for dirt racing. But I'm about 10, 15 minutes away from Lincoln Speedway. That's people say Williams Grove. It's a great name, but John, you probably know too. Get in line. It's a train. It's really hard to pass
Yeah.
there. It's not the most fun to go watch. So I love Lincoln Speedway. That's definitely my go-to.
Yeah, those bigger tracks, even Knoxville. If you go out to Knoxville, you get a lot of that too, and it's just the nature of what that kind of racing is. But short tracks, to me, where it's at. How excited were you though? With Lincoln being your local track. Well, I guess now I shouldn't say recently, but somewhat recently they added Lincoln right here to iRacing. What was your thoughts? And how close is Lincoln to what you see and when you go?
It's so they did a well. That's first off. I'll start. Let me tell you. I think I was the second or third person to comment on iRacing's page to know what track that was, just by looking off of turn 4. There, you could see the golf course back behind it, and I knew exactly where it was. I was so excited, and definitely they did a good job with it. But the thing I don't like that they really didn't do justice is, and they even added it. Pit Road is off the backstretch. They have the cars pit in the infield at Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's not the way they do that. Personally, I stand in the infield at Lincoln because I've never been a big fan of the dust going around the outside of the track. So I try to get to the inside, and that's the only thing that they bungled a little bit. But other than that, I mean, the track two different corners, so you got to learn how to drive the whole place. And it was a track that I don't know if you remember there when Coast to Coast went there. That's when I was still racing. I actually won there week 1, so it was nice to have a little bit of insight. Guys didn't know that the bottom would come in late, and since of course they've all figured out and dominated me, but it was nice to have a little insight there right away.
What series do you tend to that gets you out or even get you to some of the other tracks out there in the area like the Grove or Selins Grove or wherever?
So like I'll go for the weekly 410 shows even because I didn't do it on purpose, but Danny Dietrich, I'm wearing his shirt right now. He's from Gettysburg as well. He'll go run Outlaws and stuff every now and then, but he's a Williams Grove and Lincoln every week kind of guy. So I like a lot of the local guys. We really are blessed with such great racers here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, guys that, other people are starting to see now, like Brent Marks, Anthony Macri. I mean, I've been watching them for 4 or 5 years, pound down the wall at Lincoln and just seeing guys come around from, the small towns around here and make it on the big scene. It's really cool. That's something, too, I think, I mean, not that he'll ever hear this, but deep down, I mean, it stinks what got him there, but we owe a lot of this dirt racing success to Kyle Larson and really bringing the attention back to dirt. It's getting a lot of money involved in the sport, and it's, I think, going to make good things for everybody.
Yeah, Larson and Brad Sweet have really done wonders with that high limit thing that they're doing. That can kind of, I don't want to say competes with the Outlaws, but it kind of does. I mean, bought the All Stars from Tony, and man, the job that they've done with that has been phenomenal. But the one thing is that's cool about that Pennsylvania posse guys. Those cats. I can't think of anywhere, maybe other than Knoxville, the weekly guys that run at Knoxville, that when these touring series come in, they hold their own, and they, I mean, they're not just hey, they had a nice, respectful top five. Those guys compete for wins when those national touring series. So, yeah, like you said, you're in a really cool spot with a lot of talented drivers there. What track are those? The same tracks that you found racing, like when you were when you were younger? Your dad. You talk about being a big. Where did your dad drive?
He actually, when I was a little kid, he raced go karts. Actually, John, if you remember, this name might make you smile. Lane Snook. Lane Snook actually races at Hunterstown every now and then, and I grew up at Hunterstown Speedway every weekend watching my dad go kart race. And then since I want to say about 5 years ago, the track that I grew up racing on, it was called Trailways Speedway. They actually demolished that and it got turned into a farm now. So that's no longer there, but that was another racetrack, that was 10, 15 minutes from my house. So absolutely blessed to be living in central Pennsylvania and be a dirt racing fan.
Well, what was your first, memory of racing? I mean, where was your, oh yeah, this is the coolest thing on the planet, moment? Do you remember whenever that happened or what it was?
Yeah, definitely. My dad, I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and I was there. He won a race. I can't remember which one in particular, but I think obviously had a little more money involved in it because he was pretty stoked about it. But he invited me up to come on Victory Lane, and I still have that picture somewhere over there at the house next door. But
It's
that's
very
my
cool.
earliest racing memory, and definitely hooked.
That is very, very cool. Um, do you just kind of go out to watch the wing stuff, or because I know the late models come through there. You got some good races that are in that part of the country. You ever get out and go watch any of those?
No, not really. I mean, I'll get drug along to every now and then. I have some friends who, like you say, well, money is getting into dirt racing now. It's kind of unbelievable. But even the front wheel drive classes now, John, how much money they have into those and those neons and stuff. I have some friends around here who still do that, and I'll travel around every now and then to see that stuff. But I've pretty much always been a winged guy. I think the only way you're going to get me to something else is if Dean Reynolds is in town and he invites me out.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Dean Reynolds is what is his title, Zach? He does a lot with World Racing Group,
Yeah, the
especially with the
Super
big
Dirt
block.
Car Series.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the Super Dirt Car Series, the big blocks. He's a very, very cool guy. God knows I've had enough conversations with him, both when he's been angry with me, or I've been angry with him, or even just talking racing. But Dean is. He's been around racing for God, I don't know how long, but yeah, those big blocks. Those are one of those cars that I never got to drive that I kind of wish I would have gotten to drive. I think those things would be really, really interesting. They're ugly. God, they're ugly.
Yeah,
But
they are
but
ugly, man.
but, but man, with the solid axle and all that horsepower. Oh my God, those things have to be either a nightmare to drive or a blast to drive. It'd be one or the other, and I hate the fact I don't know which one it is. So, um, but you mentioned also, we've been talking here a little bit about the racing in the area, but you mentioned you're from Gettysburg. What a cool historic
Yeah.
place is that? Is that where you were born and raised, or is that
Yes,
where you're
sir.
at now?
I'm in the
Yeah.
house that I grew up in an addition onto the house that I grew up in my whole life. Like I said, my grandparents
Wow.
lived here when I was younger. They've since passed, and my wife and I are living here until this economy settles down and I can get a decent mortgage rate.
Good luck with that. But
Yeah.
you know, so for those everybody, if at this point, if you're an adult watching this, you know about Gettysburg and the whole four score and all that kind of stuff. Um, what is it like there? What else is there other than the Civil War? Give us kind of paint us what Gettysburg is like.
I mean, truthfully, I'm not kidding, John. I haven't been obviously all around the world or all around the country, but I couldn't imagine being in much of a better place. We get all 4 seasons. Yeah, tourist season kind of stinks here over the summer, but that's what pays a lot of people's bills around here. So you got to live with it. And Got farmland if you're into hunting. I mean, you can hunt. That's not exactly my thing. I'm a fishing guy. Plenty of streams to go fishing in. I mean, I'm about a 10-minute drive away from the Appalachian Trail. So,
Wow.
I mean, we have the mountains. I mean, we got everything here. I enjoy where I'm at. That's for sure.
That is really, really cool. If if I'm gonna pick my family up and I'm gonna come to Gettysburg, what is the must do? The one thing that may not be on those tourist brochures. What should I do? What should I tell my family here? Here's what we're gonna do first.
Man, that is a tough one, John. I'm a homebody. Um,
You just got to tell me you got all these great things there. Right? Come on,
I
man.
know I'm a broadcaster on iRacing. I don't leave home much. But no, I would say, there aren't many things to do per se in Gettysburg because of like it being historical.
Yeah.
And have a lot of things around here, but real close towns like Hanover, they've got some amazing go-kart tracks and stuff like that. That's what I like to go do. Not too far away from Hershey Park. If you're ever around here, people love going to Hershey Park, going up there to see the Hershey factory.
Man, I've
There's
never been there. That's another
of
one
cool
of those
stuff.
places. That's one of those places I'd love to go. But
Yeah, you have no excuse because if you go visit that Bass Pro up there in Harrisburg, you are 15 minutes away from Hershey. So if you ever have to go there,
Harrisburg is not in my region. I'm good friends with a guy that's over that store. But yeah, but I'm a diabetic, so me going to Hershey may not be the best idea because I might end up spending more time than I'd like there in one of the local hospitals.
I feel you. I'm one of the only fat people allergic to chocolate, John. It doesn't make sense, but I can't even eat the stuff. So,
Boy, what did you do in a past life to get so
I know.
cursed? Well, what about Gettysburg itself? Describe that. How often do you go out there often or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, not to like be whatever, but like that's kind of one of the things I always tell tourists. They're like, "Where is the battlefield?" And man, everywhere. I kid you not. If I could, it's too dark outside now, but if like my camera could zoom in at the end of my street, probably 150 yards, and then 20 yards up to the left is the first shot marker of the Battle of Gettysburg.
wow.
So it came. I live off the Chambersburg Road. Came from the west there and came into town, and I mean they went the whole way. So I drive on the battlefield every day. It's when I
That
go over
is
to my
wild.
grandmother's house, I like take the battlefield cuts to avoid traffic and stuff like that, and it's enjoyable for sure.
Anybody that's ever watched more than one of these knows that I can start nerding out on these history things. So I love history, and that's I'm jealous of where you're at. Not only you got the racing, but you got the history. So I think you're onto something when you say you can't imagine living anywhere else, because that really sounds like a place that I would absolutely love to live in. But I'll tell you, you mentioned your wife and all that. You're, I don't want to say recently married, but you're kind of still newly married. What are we looking at? About a year and a half now?
Three. Yeah.
Has it been that long? Man,
Yeah, 3 years.
we've known each other that long?
Yeah, and
Holy
I
cow.
dated her, man, for oh my gosh, 12 years before we got married. Because she went to school for a long time. I'm the first person to admit, man, my wife is the breadwinner. She works hard. She went to school for a long time, got the degrees, and we just wanted to make sure, everything could get through school, and then got married as soon as she was done with school.
Well, what is her first name?
Her name's Allie.
Allie. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Hello, Allie.
And it is actually Allie too, not Allison. On her birth certificate, it's Allie. That's why she's one of those people. She gets offended when people named Allison use the nickname Allie because that's actually her name.
So you said you dated a while and then you finally got married. I can't believe that was 3 years ago. That just blows my mind because it seems like it wasn't that long ago.
2001 or to 2021, not 2001. What was I saying?
Well, let me ask then: did you propose to her, or did she propose to you?
I did. Yeah, I
You
did.
did.
I used her grandmother's engagement ring because she always liked that. So I had worked up a deal with her grandma and grandpa. I went and asked them if it was okay, and
Wow,
proposed then with the ring.
old-fashioned, are you?
Yeah, it was important to her. she didn't have the best relationship with her father, and her grandpa, who's since passed away, rest his soul. He passed away a couple months ago, actually. He was a great guy, but that was her father figure for sure.
Well, what did she go to school to work all that hard to get all those degrees and all that kind of stuff?
It's social work, the thing that makes you the
Very
least
nice.
amount of money to go to school for that long, John. But she does okay.
Yeah, but you know what?
She's a giver. She's got
Yeah.
a bigger heart than anyone I've ever met, and
There,
that's why I
there's
love
very
her.
few things that you sit and it's like, you know what, these people make the world better, and it sounds like she's definitely one of those people that make the world better, and that's a very, very cool thing. I know that I don't. Are you still in one of your dispensaries? What do you do now?
No, and now now I'm trying to do this as much as I
Broadcasting.
can full time. Yeah. I do my it's actually is another cool thing. My dad's father used to restore Model A's and Model T's. So his
Wow.
brother has since taken that over since my grandpa passed away, and I do that to help him out as well. Like I'll go up there at the garage and do some painting and stuff like that for him. So always stuff on the side.
Well, you also talked about your wife being a social worker, so she does things that makes things a little better for a lot of folks. You said something earlier in this interview about the locks for kids. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you he was my best friend, but there was a kid who I was pretty good friends with in high school who in 10th grade he was diagnosed with cancer, lost all his hair. He got better, thought he was good, and our senior year it went drastically downhill and he passed away. A couple months after we graduated. So ever since then, I've decided to grow my hair out and donate the hair because it was something that he wouldn't really complain about, but I know he was embarrassed, and it's just something. Hey, if I can make someone feel a little better, and I've got the hair to do it, might as well do it. Give it to some little kid so they're not as embarrassed.
That is Zach. That is very cool of you to do that, and very, very touching. And that's something that yeah, I'm sure a lot of people listening to that would have never guessed. One of those things that's very quietly done behind the scenes, and very cool of you to do. So, man, I'll tell you what. I've known you now, I guess, for years. I didn't realize it's been that long.
Yeah.
I guess time flies when you're having fun. Maybe that's what it is. But after talking to you here for the last 40 45 minutes here, man, I know you now better than I did before, and I'm glad we were able to do this. And I do thank you for coming on and being a part, and I'm glad to see a part of VGN. I like you and I got to call a modified race from Oswego and a late model race. It was really, I don't, was that the first time you and I've actually worked together like that in a broadcast?
I think
I don't.
so, and not to toot our horn there, but we did get a couple compliments. We did a pretty
We
good job
did.
of that. Was a long green flag race with not a lot of stuff going on, and we did a pretty good job of diagnosing that. I think we did pretty good together.
Yeah, I did too. That was a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm sure that our paths some point will cross paths again. Let's just make sure you stay in the booth for the rest of the SK ones this season, so I don't have to. I can keep going at that. I got to needle you about that, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I bring it up almost every time because he talks about you missing the one race, and then I say, well, technically two, because
yeah.
you had to go up there for me the other one too. So the fact that you're even, not to make this about you here, but the fact that you're even in this points lead or points battle, pretty phenomenal, and I'll be rooting for you.
I appreciate it, and yeah, I'm not really even sure where it came from. Definitely punching above my weight because these guys like Donnie and Todd and that rest of this crew, those guys are way better asphalt racers than I am. So, but well, we're going to do one thing here before we kind of move towards the end of the show. I know you've heard it, the whole green white checker thing. So, are you ready to play along?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, the first one. I want to be spicy here, so I'm gonna start a controversy. You ready? Redskins or Commanders?
Well, this is so embarrassing, John. I can't believe I'm gonna do this.
Oh no.
But it can't go anywhere.
Oh no.
It can't go anywhere. It was a crappy tattoo that I had a friend do. Redskins for life, man. Redskins for life.
I had no idea you had that.
I know. I don't
that's
tell
awesome.
many people that. I don't tell many people that.
All right. Only you're locked on an island. You can only do one discipline on iRacing. Are you gonna dirt race? Are you gonna road race? Or are you going to asphalt race? You can only pick one. That's the only kind of start you can make.
I'm dirt racing, John. I'm tooting my
Which
horn
car?
here once real quick. The sprint car. I made that Knoxville Nationals for iRacing, and that's one of my best accomplishments too. That field was unbelievable, and to even be on the track with some of those pro racers. Well, I learned where I stand real quick, and that's at the back. But it was fun.
All right. Well, and the last one here is, we've got Thanksgiving coming up here in the States. So tell me, what is your go-to side for Thanksgiving dinner?
I bet you no one says this, and my grandma makes the best ones in the world, and I'm going to eat them until the day she passes away. Salmon cakes, John. Absolutely love salmon cakes.
Salmon cakes.
My grandma makes
Wow.
them for me every holiday. Has since I was probably 5 years old, and I love them.
Oh, very, very cool. That's another cool story. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Well, again, thank you for coming on and everything else. Normally at this point now, we preview the next race, but with Thanksgiving coming up, there are no races this coming week on the VGN network. So, Zach, usually we preview, or even the next race that you're going to be in or whatever. But, so I'm going to do this with you. What has been your favorite racetrack that you've gotten a broadcast of VGN race at?
I would say Nashville.
Why?
Yeah. Just because the track is real slippery at the bottom. It's not easy to hit the bottom groove, but it's kind of where you want to be. It's fast, and it just makes it interesting. You get guys hicking up, having a lot of hiccups by themselves on the bottom, and it can allow a guy to get a run on the high side and cut underneath. It just promotes good racing. I really like it. Technical track.
Yeah, it's as long as you don't hit that bump coming out of two. That's a heck of a track, and that does put on some really, really, really good racing. So I have to agree that's one of the better tracks that we definitely go to for sure. But Zach, once again though, thank you for coming on, man.
Oh man, it was an honor. I appreciate it. Love doing it, and know where I'd rather be, my man.
Well, very cool. We look forward to seeing more of you this year with the SKs and maybe the late models from time to time. But I can't wait to see what next year brings and some of these other leagues with you. You being the lead and I think with yesteryear and everything else. So what a great opportunity. I cannot wait to see what you do with these things. And my friend, I hope your family all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
I appreciate that, John. I hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. And yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Everyone here at VGN, especially, nothing short of Ryan. Ryan, you do a lot, but John, you getting me in here, and Lowell actually, stepping up and taking the risk here and giving me the chance and letting me run with this yesteryear thing. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that's awesome, man. And yep, we will look forward to it with you. And it's not too long before that thing whole fires off. So we'll start having drivers from that yesteryear right here on this show. So I cannot wait to see those guys come in and start learning about those guys too. So for all of us here though at VGN, we'd like to thank you for watching our conversation this week with Zach Chapman. We will see you next week. Yes, there's no racing, but we will have a show, and it's going to be none other than the Soup and Crackers show. And when I say the Soup and Crackers show, I mean, you know what? We're not racing, but you might want to put your seatbelts on anyway. That's going to be a fun show. And so we wish you and your loved ones a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we hope you all have a great week.
Coming up on VGN, BRL is off this coming weekend, but will return on December 7th for another doubleheader Saturday night featuring the modifieds and late models from Hickory Motor Speedway. On Tuesday, December 3rd, the VGN Weekly Podcast will air at 9 a.m. Eastern with special guests Bill Soup Zahn and Sean Crackers Ambrose. That's a little early in the day for drinking games, but hey, we'll make it work. As Soup has likely said, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. Coming soon to VGN, Red Light Racing's Skitter Creek SK Modified Series will debut on January 9th, 2025. The inaugural Yesteryear Racing IROC Series will air live on February 18th, and the VGN debut of Yesteryear Racing's 1966 Tour Modified Series will kick off on February 25th. You can see our full schedule at virtualgrip.net/calendar.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of VGN Weekly. Join us next time for race recaps, interviews, and much, much more. Please like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our broadcasts. If you are a league owner or potential sponsor and have a broadcasting need, please visit virtualgrip.net for info on how to get in touch with us. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network and the Skitter Creek Motorsports Group.